Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Friday the 23rd of January 2026, the longest January in recorded human history. How are we all doing in the chat this rather drizzly and overcast morning? I hope you're all right. We've got Ms. Paula Thomas in there. We've got Diz. We've got One Angry Pagan of Veg Pie. We've got Liam Fairhurst. We've got Dan Shard. Sorry for keeping you waiting there. If you would like to join our friends, the socialites, in the socialite chat, all you need to do is you need to subscribe. Well, give us a like first, but then also subscribe to the channel and wait for approximately 1 minute, and then you will be granted entry. But don't be a troll or a spammer. We had a spammer last night. That was weird, wasn't it? We haven't had a spammer on here for I was going to say months. It's probably been years. When did we last have our last spammer? The spammer, and they kept on making new accounts. You know, when someone just doesn't take the hint and they make a new account, they come back, why did you block me? I wasn't spamming. When they totally were. So big shout out to the mods for sorting that out, especially Des last night. Thank you. So we're going to be talking about the Board of Peace today. Are you bored of peace? I'm bored of peace. They're all bored of peace. Let's just have war instead. I mean, the jokes write themselves, don't they? But this is no joke. This is it is a joke. It's a sick joke. It's a Trump-created parallel power structure launched in Davos, nominally to oversee the transition from for Gaza from being in the absolute state of rack and ruin that it is now to turning it into some kind of new Dubai somehow. I don't know, really. They did a PowerPoint presentation and they went, look how amazing it could look with all these computer-generated buildings. You're like, well, what about the people of Gaza? Oh, you don't need to invite them along to talk about it. What about the Palestinians? No, don't need to talk to any Palestinians. So yeah, this charter gives the extraordinary executive authority, or gives this authority to the chair, of course, Donald Judas Trump, including veto powers and member removal, which is really funny because I would have thought that would have gone to the leader of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman. You know, member removal. See what I mean? The sick jokes write themselves. Trump is a chairman for life, so even if he's not president anymore, which he's going to be till he dies, it's fine. It's fine. He is the chairman for life, apparently, unless he decides otherwise. The permanent membership of this cabal costs $1 billion, explicitly creating a pay-to-play global governance group, which, we'll get into the members in a moment, but oh my God. And the mandate overlaps and threatens the UN by Trump's own admission. There's no democratic accountability, no binding legal framework, no clarity on jurisdiction. Democracies all looked at this and went, you're all right, mate. The UK declined due to the invitation of Russia to this group and governance concerns. France, Norway, Sweden declined on constitutional and UN undermining grounds. Canada, the invitation was withdrawn after the Prime Minister Mark Carney criticised Trump publicly in that amazing speech that he made on Tuesday in Davos. The EU as a bloc is absent, and although there are a couple of members, which I'll get to in a moment, but China and Russia are invited, but they're a bit non-committal. They're keeping the leverage without commitment, and this $1 billion that you got to pay to join. Yeah, Russia doesn't have to pay that. Oh yeah, and by the way, that $1 billion that goes to Trump's private bank account in Qatar. I just, it's out there, isn't it? It is just out there. Should I read this to you? This is what Trump wrote on Trump's social concerning Mark Carney's mean hurty words. His hurty words that he said. Dear Prime Minister Carney, please let this letter serve to represent that the Board of Peace is withdrawing its invitation to you regarding China's joining what will be the most prestigious board of leaders ever assembled at any time. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I can't believe that this is the real life and it's not fantasy. Caught in a landslide, no escape from whatever the fuck this is. Anyway, so yeah, this is the world that we are living in right now. This is the world of 2026. I watched a little YouTuber, one of the little ticky-tocky bastards on TikTok the other day, and they were going, "I like it when people ask me who I voted for when I'm in Europe. They ask me who I voted for," and I'm like, yeah, because we need to know. It's important. It's important. We need to know. You know, you might not think it's important. It's very strange to ask someone who they voted for in a politics thing. Now, of course, I didn't vote for Trump, but people do. Do you understand that we need to know if you voted for this, okay? Because if you did, we know to fucking run a mile. We know to have our children nowhere near you because you support a guy who's the fucking paedophile. We know that any of our women friends, any women, should be moved away quickly from the person who voted for the guy who bragged about grabbing women by the genitalia, a guy who's an adjudicated rapist. Yeah, you need to move them away. You know, any, 37-year-old mothers who just dropped their kids off at school. Yeah, we need to move them away from the people who voted for the guy who's going around shooting 37-year-old mothers, Christian mothers, white Christian mothers in the fucking face in fucking broad daylight. We need to know. So stop being all butthurt, America. Getting really pissed off now. This video's going, we need your help, Europe. You need to do something. I'm like, you're fucked. Fuck off. Fuck off. Sort your own shit out. You know what you need to do. Don't think for a moment you're going to get a fucking election. You know, the midterms, if they do go ahead, are going to be so fucking, they're going to be so corrupted. It's going to make Maduro's last election look like it was a straight race. It's going to make Vladimir Putin look like he's given his opponents a chance in the last 25 years, when the reality is that he's just fucking killed them. So yeah, it's one of them. Anyway, so I'm going to set a goal for today because, you know, needs the monies. And also it'll make Diz happy. So come on, let's make Diz happy. Give it a moment though, because if you put a super chat in right now, it won't register on the Confetti Fund. So there we go. We've got the super chat gold going. All the colours of the rainbow. It's all good. Okay, Sid, he did, Sid. Tell Sid. He did. Okay, so let's talk about the executive core then of this board of peace. Tony Blair, architect of the Iraq War, directly responsible for the destabilization of the region that killed hundreds of thousands, that spread its tendrils all the way across the Middle East, all the way into the Sahara Desert and across into places like Mali and Burkina Faso, Nigeria. Yeah, thanks for that. Thanks for that, Toe. Ms. Paula Thomas, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. And in the meantime, there are 2 US aircraft carriers expected to arrive in the Middle East this weekend. Oh, cool. Excellent. So Trump's letting his mates do what they want in the Middle East, is autocratic Sharia law, friends. It's what I don't understand. All these fuckers and Trump voters, they're absolutely terrified of Islam coming and telling them what to do. But the only people that Trump listens to and talks to and hangs out with and tries to, chum up to are the rulers, the sultans, the Emiratis, the kings of the Middle East who rule these countries under Sharia law. Same with Farage over here. Same with Farage. Same with Farage and Tice. Tice fucking lives in Dubai. Farage is over in Abu Dhabi every other week. To get things started for the Diz Fix. Oh, thanks very much, Viper Scott. That's very kind of you. Gallifrey Man says, breakfast is served. Grubber. Oh, you're making me hungry. Same people who complain about refugee centres and dangerous men, but they love Trump. What a joke. Yeah. Anyway, so Tony Blair, Jared Kushner, Nepo-Baby. He's a Nepo-Baby in law. Nepo in law. No diplomatic experience. Personal major financial ties to Gulf monarchies, not least Saudi Arabia, that gave him $2 billion for doing fuck all, and previously sidelined the Palestinians in his Middle East peace plans. They're just entirely sidelined the Palestinians in the plans for the peace for the Palestinian people. We've got Marco Rubio, who's a hardline interventionist. He supports regime change doctrine across Latin America and he opposed accountability for Israeli war crimes in Gaza. Then we've got Steve Witkoff. Steve fuck off. Real estate billionaire. No foreign policy background. A pure access broker for Trump. And then we look at the authoritarians and strongmen, dictators, dicks. Putting the dicks into dictators. The fucking roster here, my God. Let's have a look. So in Europe, we've got Viktor Orban, the power-hungry Prime Minister of Hungary. Power-hungry, see what I did there. He dismantled judicial independence in Hungary. He captured state media. He's an open ally of Putin, going so far as yesterday putting out a tweet saying to Volodymyr Zelensky, you're the person who's made this war continue. It's all your fault. And then we've got Alexander Lukashenko, who I've mentioned before, the dictator of Belarus, the last dictator of Europe, we like to call him, because Putin is the leader of a country called Russia, which isn't part of Europe, it's part of Asia. Mass torture of prisoners, direct accomplice in Russia's war on Ukraine. In fact, troops and tanks and things like that, they came out of Belarus into Ukraine. Putin attacked Ukraine in part through Belarus, and he would risk arrest in multiple jurisdictions. And then we've got the Middle East gobshites. Oh, before we get onto them, we've got One Angry Pagan. Thank you very much for the £2 super chat. This board of peace likely to be short-lived. Well, it's just a cash grab for Trump, isn't it? And then Francis Winrow, £5 super chat. Trump peace board, like the Grand Moff Tarkin meeting in the Death Star. I find your lack of faith disturbing. And then we've got the Middle East and the Gulf, monarchies, autocracies, tyrannies, dictatorships. Mohammed bin Salman, as I mentioned before, Saudi Arabia's king, ordered the murder of Jamal Khashoggi. He leads an absolute monarchy in his country. He wants to build a line in the sand, literally a line going through the fucking desert. Cost a few people's lives because they got in the way of his line in the fucking desert. So he fucking killed them because he's a fucking monster. More executions last year in Saudi Arabia than ever before in modern history. Yeah, that's going on right now in Saudi Arabia. You've got to understand how brutal this fucking dictatorship is, because if a woman is accused of having an affair, when, she didn't, by a man, the man's testimony is worth more than the woman's. So she can be found guilty on the say-so of a man, and then she'd be buried up to her neck. Sorry, trigger warning in a moment. She's buried up to her neck in the sand, and young men, youths, teenagers, teenage gobshites, like the fucking Jimmies from 28 Days Later, will throw stones at her face, at her head, until she dies, until she hemorrhages. I mean, big fuck-off stones. Did you think that the torture scene in 28 years later was a bit much? Yeah, that happens every day in Saudi Arabia, and the guy in charge of it all is being part of this board of peace. Yeah, what a great system. What a great fucking system. Trigger warning over. Ms. Paula Thomas, thank you very much for the £2 super chat. Whitcock's family background is Russian. It speaks volumes. And then Plum Duff, thank you very much for the £20 super chat. That's really kind of you. Thanks, Diz, for always being the best of the best and keeping the chat in order. We all appreciate you. You're an absolute star. Love from Plum. Oh, Plum, that's so nice. Thank you so much for the super chat, and thank you for heaping praise on Diz, who we love. So thank you. And thank you, Diz, because you're awesome. Okay, so next up we've got hang on. I just mentioned something, yeah. So Saudi Arabia. War crimes in Yemen. Yeah, that's been happening for the last few years. No one talks about that, do they? No one talks about all the Muslims being killed in Yemen by the Muslims from Saudi Arabia. Funny that. Anyway, so then we've got Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. This is the military dictator of Egypt, who has imprisoned tens of thousands of political prisoners and set out mass death sentences. Yeah, come to Egypt. Wonderful place. Try not to die. Try not to be put to death by the state. Then we've got, talk about being put back to death by the state. We've got Benjamin Netanyahu, who is wanted under domestic corruption charges in Israel. He's also got an International Criminal Court arrest warrant, which has been sought over Gaza. He is guilty, we think, accused allegedly, come on, he fucking did it, of systematic violations of international humanitarian law, such as cutting off food supplies and power to the people of Gaza, to the people, starving children, taking medicine from children in Gaza. And then we've got Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdul Rahman Al Thani, who is the leader of Qatar, another absolute monarchy, no democratic mandate, strategic hedge player. He's not a peace broker in any way, shape, or form. And then we've got also the Faisal bin Farhan Al Saud, who also represents Saudi Arabia, who's regime responsible for repression and extrajudicial killings. We've got from the Caucasus, we've got the leader of Azerbaijan, who is responsible for the ethnic cleansing of the Nagorno-Karabakh region, which is a little exclave of Armenia, filled with Armenians and Armenian churches that were very important to the Armenian people, and that they've all been kicked out in the last few years. Also, he's an authoritarian dynastic ruler. His name is Ilham Aliyev, and he's also responsible for the repression of journalism. It's all that, actually. Everyone at the board of peace, in some way or other, is responsible for the repression of journalism. And then we've got the Armenian leader, Nikol Pashinyan, and he's a democratic reformer, but he's been forced into alignment over the US-brokered settlement with Azerbaijan. There's a whole story behind this because Azerbaijan and Armenia have been at each other's throats for years and years and years. Armenia is nominally Christian and Azerbaijan is nominally Islamic, and they've never really got on, have they? So for many, many years, Armenia has felt sandwiched between Turkey, which hates it, and Azerbaijan, which hates it. And Turkey and Azerbaijan have worked together, but then it becomes a bit more complex because Armenia, Azerbaijan, and Georgia used to be part of the USSR, and that broke apart into 15 different states. It's all very long and complicated, but the upshot is the people of Armenia don't like the people from Azerbaijan. The people from Azerbaijan don't like the people from Armenia, so much so that if you have an Azerbaijani stamp in your passport, you'd face difficulties getting into Armenia and vice versa. So then we've got the leader of Armenia. You could argue that Nikol Pashinyan was included to give democratic cover to this fucking cabal of fucking crazy. And then we've got Kasim Jomart Tokayev, who is the leader of Kazakhstan, who maintains the authoritarian system that has been in place since the fall of the Berlin Wall. In fact, it's since the breakup of the USSR. And I've got to say, this guy has ordered lethal force against protesters. A lot of these countries that have joined up aren't places that I would recommend you go on holiday. I mean, I had a good time in Uzbekistan when I was there, but Shavkat Mirziyoyev, I'm saying that probably wrong, who is the leader of Uzbekistan, who doesn't allow any free elections, and allegations of torture still persist in Uzbekistan, one of the most difficult countries to get in and out of in the world. Jesus. And then we've got Latin America. Who have we got? We've got the dictator. Well, he's not a dictator yet, but he's given up to be Javier Milei of Argentina, who is the narco cap man or something. He dresses up as an anarchist capitalist superhero with a chainsaw who goes around taking money off babies and giving it to his rich friends. He has trashed the economy of Argentina so badly that his mate Trump had to give him $40 billion in used £5 notes in a container. Sent all this money over in a container from American taxpayers. American taxpayers who have to watch their babies die because there's no healthcare in America unless you're really rich. So that went over to Argentina, which might be used to, invade the Falkland Islands in the next couple of years. That could happen with Trump's backing. Well, I've looked at it on the map and it's closer to Argentina than it is to the UK. So I think Argentina should have it. Okay, mate. Well, I think that fucking Samoa should have American Samoa then. How about Japan gets fucking Guam and the Northern Mariana Islands? Hey, would you like that? It's closer. Geographically, it is closer to Japan. End of. Then we've got Santiago Pena from Paraguay, who is, he's linked to the party, which is incredibly corrupt in Paraguay. They have weak democratic safeguards there. And it's a really impoverished country, kind of a prisoner of geography because it's one of two landlocked countries in South America, along with Bolivia, the two poorest countries in Latin America in total. Are those two, and they're the only two that are landlocked. It tells you a lot about how difficult it is to actually maintain trade with the rest of the world if you've got to ask some other country's permission to take stuff through that country into your country. Anyway, and then we've got the Asia Pacific lot. We've got Prabowo Subianto, who is the leader of Indonesia, who is he's a former general implicated in disappearances and also in human rights crimes in East Timor and also in West Papua. And then we've got Shahbaz Sharif, of the military dominated governance of Pakistan, who is famous for his systematic oppression of opposition. You see, it's like a roll call of the usual suspects, isn't it? I mean, more fucking evil. So multiple leaders of these multiple members of this new cabal would be denied US entry under Trump's own immigration rules. And at least two of the participants face potential arrest under universal jurisdiction or ICC warrants. And then Trump's administration has previously sanctioned many of these regimes. And Gaza's being used as cover. Obviously, the board has no binding enforcement mechanism to protect civilians. The Palestinian governance reports upward to Trump's board, not to the Palestinian people in any way, shape, or form. Israel retains military control in Palestine, and reconstruction framed as an investment opportunity, not a humanitarian duty. The real purpose here is to centralize global decision-making under Trump, to replace multilateralism with personal loyalty. I mean, this guy's got he can say who can join, he can say who gets kicked out. He decides what the policies are, and they have to do what he says. This is the setting up of an empire. This is it. This is Trump acting as an absolutist emperor. And they want to normalize war criminals as legitimate partners. Monetize peace through extortionate membership fees. You think little countries that have about $1 billion a year as their entire GDP can afford $1 billion to join this fucking gang of gobshites? And they want to run the world like a protection racket, not a rules-based order. Join us and we'll make sure that you're all safe. But you've got to pay us $1 billion each. This has come out of Trump's idea that in NATO, we should be paying the US for looking after us. When the reality was the US put us in a bind and said, you have to buy our weaponry that we are fully integrated in, so we keep control of it, but you pay for it. A bit like getting music from Spotify. You never own it. You're just paying a subscription for the rest of your life to some fucking company. This is not peacekeeping. This is authoritarian money laundering. This is ego governance. This is neo-imperialism. And it's dressed up as diplomacy, I guess. And don't get me wrong, the UN is not perfect. It was never meant to be. I mean, they made the 5 members of the Security Council when it was set up. The UK, the US, the USSR, Taiwan, which is now China, USSR, now it's now Russia for some fucking reason. The UK, France maybe, but the US, Canada, China, Russia, they've got a permanent veto over anything that the other 192 members of the UN want to do. So if 192 members vote on a resolution and one of those five says no, it doesn't go through. But that was put in at the beginning because it was the spoils of war. It was victory to the victors. And they said, oh, well, okay, the USSR won this with France and the UK and the US. And I guess we've got to have China in there, although they didn't really win a war. They kind of got occupied. That's another story. But yeah, for many years, it was China is what's now the government in Taiwan. Then it in the 1970s under Nixon, it switched and Taiwan was forced to give up its seat and it was given to mainland China. I mean, wow, this is something else. At the very least in the UN, you have a system where every country has a voice. I mean, and a vote. And every country, no matter, whether their population is 1.4 billion, like in the case of China or India, or if it's a population of about 8,000, as in the case of Nauru in the Pacific Ocean. So yeah, Board of Peace bored of. Oh, wow. Eddie Burns says, when you join the Board of Peace, everybody stand up and has to say Hail Hydra. I think I like the idea of them holding up their halal mocktails and saying, "To evil! To evil." Holy shit, it's the mods. The mods are everyone in it's the mods. The mods and the rockers. We need more rockers. Where are the rockers out there? Europe and Asia are technically one landmass. Eurasia, but cultural differences lead to that division, with the Urals acting as a convenient border, says Jim Bob Robob. Yeah, but the Urals aren't a convenient border. They were put there by what? Peace of the Great? He decided, because the border of Europe used to be where Russia began. And then Peter the Great did his grand embassy of Europe in the early 1700s or whatever the fuck it was. And he had this big tour of Europe, and it took 2 years, and he took down notes, and he learned how to be a bit more civilized, because it was a really, really, really barbaric state, Russia, funnily enough. And he had this tour of Europe. He never got to meet Louis XIV, which in a way is sad, you know, the two major sort of leaders of the time. But then he got back, Peter the Great got back to Russia after this tour. He went to England, he went to the Netherlands, and he got back, and he decided to, what he had learned is that he needs to be more brutal. And while he was away, the parliament in Russia, the Duma, they rebelled against him. And so he had them all imprisoned. And the story is that he had them all imprisoned under his fucking palace or whatever in Moscow. Then he moved to St. Petersburg, didn't he? And he would pull one out of his dungeon every morning before breakfast and kill them in a different way. A few hundred people. This went on for a long time because he just liked killing. He just liked killing. The birth of modern Russia, my friends. Anyway, he was a bit concerned about the fact that Asia was seen as a different place. You know, it was the East, and he wanted his little place. He wanted Moscow. He wanted St. Petersburg to be more, more European, more westward looking. Window on the West. He wanted. So, he decided that he was going to draw all the maps from now on and say, actually, no, a little bit of our country's in Europe. The bit that's St. Petersburg and Moscow, that's in Europe. Where's the continental divide? Is it obvious? Is it fuck? It's a fucking mountain range. And Jim Bob Robot's right. There is no continent of Europe. It's just an area of the larger continent of Eurasia. I think that should be taken from the Russians. You know, little present that we Europeans acquiesced to many, many moons ago. Fuck it. If they're going to act like fucking barbarians, then, we'll treat them like barbarians. I know that's not very PC to say that, but fuck them. These are the people who are murdering women and children in Ukraine every day. These are the people who are kidnapping children. Over 1,000 children kidnapped. Do you remember all the stuff kicked off about the kidnappings in Israel? I mean, that was fucking awful. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong at all. And this isn't, a diversion tactic. This isn't whataboutism. It's like, okay, yeah, that's bad. And this is also bad. It's not a zero-sum game. But what's happening in Ukraine and the fact that thousands of children have been kidnapped by the Russian regime and taken somewhere into Russia. We don't know where they're fucking taking it. We don't know where the Russians are taking these kids. We don't know what they're doing to them. We can imagine, because a lot of the people who live there are fucking barbarians. Why are they barbarians, Graham? Because you have to be pretty barbaric to continue your lineage. Just simple as that. If you think you can live through the reigns of Peter the Great, Ivan the Terrible, the fucking Romanovs, the revolution, the bloody Stalin, live through Stalin, I mean, you might be lucky. You might be quiet as a mouse and just stay in the corner and not say anything, not put your head above the parapet. But, there's a lot of people who had to do things that they might not have otherwise done. It's a brutal system of brutalized people. And I've got, a bit of sympathy for the Russian people themselves. But at the end of the day, if you were going to kidnap a bunch of children and give them to any particular country in the world and hope they don't get abused, I mean, there's no country really on that list that you'd want to send them to, but I mean, Russia's probably near the bottom. Near the very bottom. Anyway, Mr. Paula Thomas, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. In some ways, Trump has blown up one protection racket, NATO, and is now trying to create another. Yeah, true. I think that's what I'm saying is with NATO, it wasn't direct. It wasn't directly funding him. It wasn't directly going into his secret Qatari bank account, was it? Yorin Infectov has been a member for 26 months. Wowzers, shrouzers. That is amazing. So thank you very much. You are incredible. Thank you. You are the best. Yuri Nifektinov. I'm infinitely, unashamedly punk. Boosh. Nice to have you with us. And then Viper Scott, in a absolutely wonderful bit of gift giving, has sent 5 Politics Social gift memberships to Phil Nelson, SpongeBob Death Star, Small Paul, Ghost Pouch, and Michael N. Sorry, not Michelin. Michael N. 1090 are all now members of the channel. Welcome, welcome. You are all awesome. You are awesome. Welcome to the channel, and thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you to Viper Scott there for being absolutely incredibly awesome. Ivan, thank you very much for the £20 super chat. I'm done with people who don't know how to speak to me and message me. I always try my best with other people's needs, but it's rarely reciprocated. I have a lot to give, but I need to do it by myself. Ivan, I'm sorry. Thanks for the super chat. I'm sorry you feel like you have to do things by yourself. When it comes to communication, especially, we talked about this with people who are ADHD, people who are on the autism spectrum, it can be difficult. And I think the best way that I would recommend, and like, just seriously, you don't have to take my recommendation for anything. No, none of you do, is to try and communicate in a considerate way, in a way that's not like confrontational, that's like not face to face, because that can end up with very heated I mean, this happens all the time in my groups, but you get these very heated discussions. And I think that what ADHD people and autistic people, what really helps is just having a bit of space to cool off and chill, and just, get our thoughts into order. But yeah, I can understand why it's difficult, Ivan, and I really, really salute you for getting your campaign for the government to take autistic people's needs into account when there's another pandemic. I really respect that, and yeah, if you can find a way to work on stuff that you feel comfortable with doing, then please do, absolutely, please do, because you knocked it out the ballpark with that. So yeah, I hope we can do something. I hope you can do something like that again without people getting in the way. Look, between you and me and everyone watching, like I can't stand being in meetings. I just can't deal with it. I react really badly. I feel like people are wasting my time. And then I get all stressed out, and I'm like, why am I sitting here? Everyone's talking bollocks. They're just, we're not getting anywhere with this. And I find meetings endlessly frustrating. And I genuinely believe, if you've seen the CIA, ways of disrupting meetings, the secret handbook for if they got invaded by the Germans, and how to disrupt meetings of groups, including, I guess they did this for Black Panthers and stuff. They put their own people in there, and they just asked stupid questions, and they just babbled on about something that was insignificant. They brought up issues that had already been agreed upon. Just have a look it up online, the CIA manual for disrupting groups, and then have a think about people in your life who do that, and you're like, are you working for the CIA? What is even happening here? We've got another super chat as well from SG. Thank you very much for the £20 super chat. Do you remember during Trump's first term, the pic of him, Saudi, Salman, and Egypt, Sisi laying their hands on the glowing globe? Trump always tells everyone what he's going to do, but everyone thinks he's just joking. Yeah. Thanks very much for the super chat, SG. Yeah, he's not. People say, oh, don't listen to what he says. Look what he does. No, he does everything that he says he's going to do. In some ways, he's a very honest politician, because people think he's lying because of the stuff he comes out with is just so preposterous. But no, it's real. It's real. This is really what he really, really, really wants to do. This is his heart's desire. Well, he doesn't have a heart, whatever, piece of coal where his heart should be, desires. And then we've got Yomin Infectinov. Thank you very much for the £5 super chat. Does anyone else think that Trump's whole invade Greenland and tariffs check was another round of market manipulation? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, 100%. Threatened tariffs, market collapses, then Taco, tell his mates an hour beforehand, I'm going to Taco, and he does a Taco, and his mates make loads of money. This whole thing for Trump is just a money-making exercise. He is trying to make himself the richest person in the world through sheer grift. He is a grift lord. He is the grift king. He is the grift emperor. He has no interest in lives or the difficulties or the happiness of people, of humans. He doesn't give a flying fuck about that. The guy's a fucking sociopath. All he's interested in is enriching himself and enriching himself. He's made more money. Here you go. He made more money last year from being president and all of his grifts and all of his gifts that were given to him. He made more money last year than he has done from all of his business enterprises up to that point put together. And he's 80 years old. Just have a think about that. The amount of money he's made from the presidency. And some people still support him, you know, in the way that they would not support anybody else doing exactly the same thing. Imagine Obama doing this. Imagine Biden doing this. They won't stand for it for a second. Not for a second. Anyway, well, moving on. On Campbell's Trip podcast, they literally said the markets were manipulated and people were literally told Trump was going to do and say re-Greenland. That is not something that surprises me. Sorry I haven't been able to give super chats for a while with Christmas and this month on MST on my card. I don't really spend money. Sarah, seriously, but not. It's fine. Like, Sarah, don't worry about it. I know you're struggling at the moment, and funding of this channel should be the least of your hassles. So don't worry about it, please. Seriously, don't worry about it. We have enough. I'm not to keep Graham's head above water. Keep Graham's head above water. What's it called? Fund. But yeah. This is for Sarah Davis, Diz Fix. Oh yes, thank you very much, Viper Scott, and that has actually triggered the 3, 2, 1 confetti. We got the confetti. How excitement! That is very, very cool. So thank you very much. And Sarah, I know you can't give a super chat, and that is absolutely fine. But what I can give you is a fucking Nobel Prize. Yeah, you win a Nobel Prize. Woo! Nobel Prize. You win a Nobel Prize. So there you go. You can decide what is a Nobel Prize for. It could be for literature, economics. It could be for medicine. It could be for chemistry. It could be for physics. It could be for just being awesome. How about that? Nobel Prize for being fucking awesome. Yay, confetti! Woo! This is excited. Trump always chickens out. Sorry, if you don't know what taco means, Trump always chickens out. It was a term that was invented last year for wheeler dealers on the stock exchange in New York. They knew that whenever he said he was going to do something, he would then invariably reverse on that position. And they'll be quids in. There you go. To be fair, this month has been dire for orders. Otherwise, I would have done more for Super Chat. No, Chris, Sarah, don't worry. Honestly, do not worry about it. I'm all right. I'm all right. You know. And I appreciate you turning up. And if you want to do anything, just tell other people about this channel and our little community that we've built here. You know, give us a like. It doesn't cost anything. Just give us a like. And subscribe. Well, you've already subscribed because you put messages in the chat. But if anyone else wants to subscribe, that'd be awesome. So I read a really disturbing article yesterday on Bylines, and it was about how basically I'm right about Trump only leaving the White House in a box. It's the only way he's going to leave, and how he's going to stitch up the elections in 2028. I'll be getting into that on Sunday, on the Sunday sermon, if you want to join me for that. January, a shitty month. Yes, Mr. Tisk. You know, it's like, you know, the how many days each month got in the year. February's got 28, March has got 31, and April's got 30, and May's got 31, and June has got 30, July, August, 31, and then you've got September with 30, you've got October with 31, and then you've got November with 30, you've got December with 31, and then you've got January with 947 days in the month. Oh my God, we're only on day 23. What the fuck, man? What the fuck? Oh, very good. Very good. Veg pie. Doorbell doesn't work. Can I get a Nobel Prize? Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, you win a Nobel Prize. Sorry, I can't change the animation midstream. But says it is. Two drums and a cymbal fall off a cliff. But I'm a legend in my own lunchtime, says Urine Infected Enough. Awesome. So there is a Nobel Prize for being part of an amazing group of people on Politics Social. Yay. Still got to send you that mug, haven't I? We'll get round to it. God, my to-do list grows every day and it doesn't shrink much. Okay, so I'm going to head over to the papers now. Would you like to join me in the papers? We'll do the paper review. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Operation Stop Burnham. PM's allies try to block return of his rival. Here we go. Front cover of the I newspaper there. Oh, God, everything's going off. Oh, my God. People are winning Nobel Prizes. Confetti. People are subscribing. Oh, my God. Do you know what? Don't set things to autoplay. Top tip. Don't set things to autoplay. And Ivan, thank you very much. Member for 3 months. Member for 3 months, but subscriber for much longer. Oh, thank you, Ivan. You're the best. You are the best. You're the best. You're the best. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about Operation Stop Andy Burnham. So this is country before party, James. For England, James. Oh my God. Oh my God. Is this really happening? Are Labour this fucking thick? Are they? Do they not see that Andy Burnham is their best chance at winning the next election? He really is the best chance at winning the next election. Starmer, he is the most unpopular Prime Minister since polls began. He is more unpopular than Liz Truss at the height of her unpopularity. He thinks he's going to turn that around, which would take a bit of a miracle. I don't think he's going to turn it around through force of personality by any stretch of the imagination. But yeah, PM's allies are trying to block the return of his rival. Starmer loyalists will try to prevent Andy Burnham from returning to Westminster because they fear he will stage a leadership challenge against the Prime Minister. Yeah. Maybe. Good. Because, the Starmer needs to replace him before the next election. The timing's not great at the moment. I would leave this for a little bit, but it would be helpful if he's already an MP before he runs for leader, because obviously you can't be a leader of Labour unless you're an MP. They have a rule about that. So do the Tories. So do you can be a Lord. You can, like Alex Douglas Hume, who's a member of the House of Lords, and he came into the Commons to be Prime Minister for a week in 1963. I think my history homework serves me well. But yes, that's why Cameron was elevated to the Lords, so he could take part in the cabinet as Defence Secretary under the last, Foreign Secretary? Foreign Secretary under the last administration, the Tory administration under Rishi Sunak. Anyway, get off the point here. He needs to be a Prime Minister. That's the Prime Minister. He needs to be an MP, not a PM. Well, he could be a PM, but he's an MP. He needs to be an MP in order to be leader of the Labour Party. Unlike the Greens, where Zach Polanski famously isn't an MP, but he is the leader of the Greens. So there you go. The doors open for Manchester Mayor to re-enter the House of Commons after local PM MP. God, fucking dyslexic this morning. After local MP retires, but Labour, our ruling body, is likely to block Burnham from standing. Starmer ally tells the paper, "We don't need Andy Burnham circus, which will only divert resources, manpower, and money away from the vital council elections. Any attempt to stop the King of the North, so-called King of the North, from standing for Parliament would divide the Labour Party," which it absolutely would, which is why this is such a stupid thing to do. In fact, it's not even good for the party. I mean, you could argue, you're putting party over the country. This is just stupidity. Just let him in. Let the chips fall where they may. We Greens don't. Zach Polanski says, "Yeah, I just said that." Oh God, I didn't see that message, but yeah. Burnham is sound. Oh, freak out then. Sorry, you freaked me out there, Mr. Tisk, because I thought that you were shouting sound at me because you couldn't hear me. So I looked, I scan the messages here, and I'm like, sound, what do these do? Oh my God, like that. The signal. Sorry I'm late, says Colin. No need to apologise. I was late too. Would comment on Trump's insult to NATO troops, but I don't want Graham to get demonetised. Oh, yeah. NATO did nothing. The over 600 soldiers, the British soldiers who died fighting fucking wars with America after they activated Article 5 in the wake of 9/11, 2001. Yeah, they didn't count. What a fucking gobshite. What an absolute fucking gobshite. David Bowie tried to warn us, you know. He did a song with Trent Reznor called I'm Afraid of Americans. He wasn't wrong. To be afraid, be very afraid, because Americans are like the fly. Next up, we've got the Daily Tory graph here. I've made that a bit bigger because I don't know why it's so small. 4.5 million to be denied vote as more polls axed. Listen, we had a vote last year for locals, a lot of us, and then we had a vote the fucking year before in the general election. All we ever do is vote. Jesus, give us a break. But yes, there's I've made it a bit bigger. So it's a bit easier to see. 2 major Tory-controlled councils given permission to delay local council elections in May. Okay, cool. I mean, fine. That's kind of fair. If it was just the Labour-controlled authorities, that would be a bit like, oh God, gerrymandering, whatever. But what's happening here, and just to explain to people who are smarter than people who read the Telegraph, obviously, is that they're redrawing the boundaries next year. All the boundaries are getting redrawn. So if you have these elections this year, if you don't postpone until next year because we're going to have the elections, we're going to have more elections next year than ever fucking before because there'll be new boundaries, right? So what's the point of having someone in a place, in position, as a councillor for a year, and then they have to give up the seat because there's got to be a new thing set up. They'll have to run for election again. And elections cost a lot of money. I mean, is this value to the taxpayer for a year? No, just there's a council running at the moment. It's been in place for a few years. Let it have one more year. I don't care whether it's Tory or Labour or Lib Dem or Green or whatever. Just leave it for a year. And then next year we'll have a big load of fucking elections and we can do what we want. Okay? That just seems more sensible to me than spending all this money on elections to elect people for a few months, essentially. And you're going to get a lot of fuckers in, and they don't know what they're doing. Meanwhile, the council here in Durham is putting up the council tax, the maximum they can. They're taking away all of the rebate, not the rebates, but the subsidies. That's not the right word, is it? Well, the discounts, the council tax discounts that are given to people who are struggling. Some of the poorest areas in the country are here in Durham, and those people are now going to have to pay even more for their council tax, which is a regressive tax, because it doesn't matter how rich you are, you pay the same council tax. It all depends on the value of your property and where the property is. That's why someone living in Buckingham Palace pays less council tax than someone living in a terrace house in Hastily. Fucking refuck, Jesus Christ. Anyway, Star Marade pushes for Hamas to keep their weapons. Another fear-mongering story there. We've got privately educated, of course, Elizabeth Hurley there, who I don't like because she's a bit of a fucker. But there you go. She was a Brexiter. And PM's allies, but if she takes down the Daily Mail, that'd be great. PM's allies to block Burnham's return to Westminster. We've got wood burners to come with health warnings. Zelensky's broadside at Europe's leaders. Ramsey pubs are like lambs to the slaughter, says Gordon Ramsay, who went round for years telling pubs they were doing it wrong. And then Trump sues JP Morgan for debanking him. He's literally suing, taking a leaf out of Nigel Farage's book of literally suing a bank for not letting them have a bank account with the bank. That's actually happening. So yeah, how dare you take my banking instruments away? And they're like, we had to. It was the law at the time, because you mounted that sedition against the U.S. The House of Representatives and the Senate. He sent a mob in to burn down our Parliament. Draconic, Drizzt. Draconic, I could see you again, my friend. How you doing? For the £5 super chat, that is very kind of you. I will say thank you very much. Trump hasn't created a board of peace. He's just brought together people who are bored of peace. Very good. Yeah, I agree. I am sorry, but I'd love to see Starmer and his cronies gone. This party infighting over Burnham might weaken the Labour Party and open the door to a bit more Farage and his goons. Yeah, absolutely. And Starmer needs to go. I mean, I think everyone agrees on that now. Even people who were like pretty fucking Starmer right at the beginning of all this. I saw him as a useful tool, which is funny because his father was a tool maker, Fool maker, more like. That doesn't really work. Okay, but the fact is that I saw him as a useful tool for getting the Tories out. He got the Tories out. That was his job, and since then he's not been doing a great fucking job because of all this fucking infighting and bullshit, and announcing things and then U-turning on them. And a few months down the road, I mean, no one's forced them to do that. You can't blame that. You can blame all the policy stuff. You can blame the stuff, the dire state of education, infrastructure, the NHS. Yeah, sure. Blame that on the Tories. Blame the Tories for the fact that we've shrunk down our army to the smallest size since the pre-Napoleon era. We can blame the Tories for all that. Absolutely blame. But you cannot blame the Tories when you keep announcing stupid shit without fucking wargaming it first, without sitting around the table, asking the people who are affected by it, the stakeholders in that particular thing that you are trying to make a policy about. Ask them, how is this going to affect you? That's going to fuck our family farm. Okay, well, we'll change we'll make the threshold a bit higher. Just bloody hell. Oh, just what? Only Prue Leaf can say Britain. That about sums up the Telegraph. Prue Leaf. I think she's privately educated, of course. And so is Judith Woods, and so is everybody, because they're on the front cover of a newspaper. The only way you can get on the front cover of a newspaper if you're not privately educated is if you, I don't know, you've committed a crime or you're dying or something. Okay, so over here we've got the Times. Starmer's allies to bar the return of Burnham. We've read that. Number 10 may water down special needs reform on rebellion fears. Number 10 may dilute plans to overhaul the special educational needs system over fears that a backbench rebellion would lead to another government reversal. Good. Okay, good. Fucking do what you need to get it through and not have a fucking rebellion. Do it before you announce it. Do it before you say what you... Don't put it to the point where we're having a vote in Parliament on it and then you change the bill mid-fucking stream. And then, fucking clockwork. Here we go. Britain needs better care for cancer patients. Yes, it does. Fuck off, Express, having a fucking crusade about this. Honestly, fuck off. Someone whose life has been affected, impacted by cancer, and other, not me personally, but my loved ones, and everyone in this country knows someone who's got cancer, had cancer, lost them to cancer, and the Tories, championed by the fucking Express, steal of the new Iron Lady and all that shite. I don't know if that was the Mail or the Express, one of them, they sort of blend into one for me. But the Tory press have created the society that we are now living, and it's a bit fucking rich of them now to be fucking going, oh, well, actually, we've got to look after our cancer patients. Do we? And now you want to look after them. Now there's a Labour government. They've got to look after them. When there was a Tory government, you didn't seem to ask. You didn't seem to give a flying fuck that's waiting lists were going through the fucking roof. People were waiting for an ambulance to turn up for 3 fucking hours. You didn't seem to give a fuck, but now you do. Okay, whatever. Insult to the fallen, and this is what was mentioned earlier. Shameful. Trump dismisses sacrifice of 405 war heroes. Donald Trump sparked fury last night by saying UK soldiers did not go on the front line in Afghanistan. Some 405 British servicemen and women died in the 20-year conflict. What a piece of shit. Fucking bone spurs, man. The guy who just got out of it because his daddy was rich. The guy who said that he had fucking bone spurs. It was said, oh, he's got bone spurs. He can't possibly fight in the war. Do you know the doctor who diagnosed him with bone spurs? Do you know who his landlord was? Do you know the landlord to his fucking GP surgery or whatever they call it over in America? Do you know who his landlord was? You'll never guess who his landlord was. Saying to a young Donald Trump, oh, it's all right, you don't have to go to war like the rest of your cohort. Yeah, it was Donald Trump's racist fucking dad. It was racist. It was Donald Trump's racist, abusive piece of shit dad. So there you go. And then we've got and then we've got the Daily Mail with my mummy treat ketamine habit saw both of my beloved children taken away. So my mummy treat. What the fuck? What the fucking fuck? Saw both my beloved children taken away. Oh no. Do you know what? Fuck around, find out. Fucking consequences. Suck it up. Fucking. Anyway, he revels in his self-aggrandizing King of the North image. Self-aggrandizing. A plum Labour seat is now up for grabs from Andrew Gwynn, but it'd have to get past Starmer's allies and Nigel Farage. Does Andy Burnham have the bottle? Labour was descending into civil war last night as Andy Burnham was offered a route map towards replacing Keir Starmer because he has to be an MP in order to do this. Andrew Gwynn, the MP who's standing down, is the one who famously had a private WhatsApp group where he made a joke about saying to a constituent, he didn't actually say this to her, he put it in a group, but it got screen capped and shared, saying, what did he say? He said, fuck your bins, which I think is kind of, borderline hilarious. But obviously, people blew it up out of all proportion. But I met Andrew Green. He actually did a Three Blokes in the Pub. He did a pubcast with me many moons ago when I was first launching this channel. And, not this channel. This channel's been around for 20 fucking years, motherfuckers. Yeah, September 2006. That's when I first registered this channel. That's fucking crazy, isn't it? It's been monetized since 2009, I think. Not that I made much money in the first few years. But yes, chairman of the board, pieces of shit. Yes. If you have kids, they come above your mummy treats, for fuck's sake. Yeah. Well, Martin, that's how she obviously justified it to herself. And, I think it's disgusting to call it mummy treats as well. I mean, there's no gender comes into this. It's just not looking after your kids and taking drugs instead. You got the choice. But I think ketamine is quite like a middle class drug. I think I don't know. I don't do drugs. But yeah, there's a lot of parents out there who still do fucking cocaine at the weekend and look after kids. It's insane. Colin says, I reminded when Corbyn became Labour leader, Burnham ran off to GM. Cooper and Kendall stayed with the PLP and faced the Corbynista hostility. Well, I mean, the opportunity to become Metro Mayor of Manchester was something that I think was a good career move for Andy Burnham, rather than being someone in a party that, at the time, wasn't really listening to people like Andy Burnham. But look, he's popular. At the end of the day, you can troll over his CV, but he's popular. And politics is, to a large extent, a popularity contest. And Keir Starmer is really fucking unpopular. So, although I don't want to see him going just yet, I think they should load the mule up with more of our sins, more bad things, more terrible Labour things before casting him into the wilderness. I think, allowing Andy Burnham to become an MP would be a good idea at this point. And then there's a really, really, really awful picture on the front cover of the Guardian here, which has got this Liam Ramos, who's this tiny, tiny tot of a child, 5-year-old who was taken from Minnesota over to Texas, thousands of miles away, taken to a detention center. He's now being held in a concentration camp. A 5-year-old child being held in a concentration camp in America now. And then we've got Amanda Seyfried, who can fuck off because she's a Trumper. We've got Sinners sets new Oscars record with 16 nominations, which is fantastic. Great film. We've got PM's allies begin Stop Burnham campaign. And then there's a story in the Star about, I don't know, someone else. I don't really know who they are. And then we've got the Metro, which has got the fucking gobshites. Hang on. I need to censor this. I need to censor this. Give me one moment. Give me one moment to censor this properly. Trump's butterface there. Oh, damn it. Why is it so fiddly? Oh, these little fiddly things. There you go. Phew. Okay, right. Gaza or Gaga, it says. And there's Trump pointing at it. The first images of Trump's reborn Gaza have been revealed and caused amazement, ridicule, I would say, around the world. Around 180 skyscrapers could turn the coast of the Middle Eastern territory into a tourist destination by 2029. All right. If you say so, lad. No, honestly, if you say so. If you say so. I mean, just what? Anyway, here's the Financial Times. On board here, peacekeepers meet at Davos. Peacekeepers. Fucking, what we talked about it this morning. Just fucking, that is just a rogues gallery of international criminals, autocratic leaders, torturers, murderers, sycophantic loons. Just fucking, it is just the team of gobshites. And if you've seen, actually, if you look very closely, you can see the logo there of the Board of Peace. And unlike the UN logo, which shows a map of the entire world, this shows it's a globe, but it's got the US conspicuously huge. It's a bit like, do you remember Harry Enfield and Chums back in the 90s? Remember the Mr. Chumney Warner? Mr. Chumney Warner sketch, and they used to have a globe of the world, and like Britain was like huge on it. It was like the size of Africa. That's what their logo is. It's basically a big logo of just showing like America and a bit of Canada and a bit of Mexico and a bit. Europe's not on it at all. Asia's not on it at all. Ms. Paula Thomas, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. Trouble is, if the mayor of Greater Manchester becomes vacant, they'll probably go to refuck. That's a very good point. That is a very good point. That'd be fucking awful if it does. What a circus. I'm not defending Sama. We'll be fine with him being replaced, but but just saying Burnham will be the chosen one is naive at best. You could end up with another Corbyn. I worry about this populism. I wouldn't put him in the same thing as Corbyn. He hasn't got the same. He hasn't got proper lunatics following him, has he? Has he got like people who are proper fucking nuts, like saying how much they love him and stuff? Have they got that? I don't know. Trump is just jealous of the super best friends club. Very funny. Very good. Colin says, I like Burnham, but he knew where to get political advantage. A reminder again, the last two occasions Labour swapped PMs, they lost the next election. Yeah, but what do you do with Starmer? He keeps fucking up. I know he's great on the international stage, and sometimes he does stuff that's fucking genius, and then he'll do something that's so incredibly stupid, painfully stupid. You're like, why are you doing this? Why don't they make it so that you can't get donations of £9 million from some motherfucker who lives in fucking Thailand? I mean, how hard can it be? Really? Border Peas in action. Thank you very much for Yori, to Yori for that. For the Border Peas. We all want peas. And I reckon that Manchester knows what refuck are. Manchester might, but it's the metropolitan area. Does it include like places like Crotchdale and Bolton and places like that? I mean, I think there's a different view of Burnham from outside the northwest, says Martin. Maybe, I don't know. I honestly, I don't know. I'm outside the northwest. I'm in the northeast for some stupid fucking reason. And he won every part of Greater Manchester, all 10 parts. Yeah. I mean, yeah. The thing is, if it all falls apart in Labour and they need to have a new leader for whatever reason, right? And Andy Burnham can't be one of the people who's put forward. I think that's madness. I think that's absolute fucking madness. Because, yeah. Well, we'll see. I'm not saying Bourne is like Corbyn. I'm saying another vote doesn't guarantee his position. You could get worse, like a Corbyn. Yeah, true. Jesus, that was a fucking nightmare. That's an absolute worst fucking leader at the worst possible fucking time to have a leader like that. Trump in the fucking White House. Brexit vote. Jesus. Anyway, moving on. Papers. Musk's SpaceX meets big Wall Street banks to line up record-breaking IPO. Market listing as soon as this year. Move amid soaring valuation. Investors bet on ties to Trump. So this is SpaceX, which is a socialist organization within the America oligarchy, in which they give loads of money, like millions, billions of dollars with a B, of the American taxpayers' money to Elon Musk to blow up rockets. So that seems like a good business venture. So now they're going to float it and they're going to get loads more money from people betting on them, making loads more money out of the American people who are just, under the fucking cosh. God, I'm glad I'm not American. I'm so glad I'm not American. I think I'm ever going to go there again, to be honest with you. Starmer's allies to plot Burnham from staging at Westminster. Come back, done that. And then we've got 10 years since consumer confidence was positive. A reading of -16 in the Consumer Confidence Index this month begins an unfortunate anniversary. It is a decade since the barometer of Britain's personal economic prospects was in positive territory. The gauge read 4 in January 2016, but plummeted into double-digit negative figures after the Brexit vote months later. So 10 years of Brexit, 10 years of negative consumer confidence since the Brexit fucking vote, since the dickheads, the morons, the lemonheads decided that it would be a really good idea to say fuck off to our really rich neighbours so we could trade with poor people who don't know who we are on the other side of the fucking planet, who don't have any fucking money to buy any shares off us, and they wouldn't want our shit anyway because they can get it much cheaper even if they have the money from fucking China. Over to the briefing now. We've got cyber insurer Beasley rejects Zurich's bid. We've got police forces shake-up. We've got Trump sues JP Morgan. We've got data center planning blip. Plans for a contentious £1 billion data center near London have encountered a legal setback after the government admitted it had made a mistake in granting planning permission. Good. Israel's to sell arms stakes. The Jewish state is to sell stakes in its big weapons makers as it seeks to raise revenue to offset a surge in defense expenditure from the that genocide that was committed by the army people. What are they called? The IDF. Paris tax grab disappoints. A special income tax on France's high earners last year raised a fraction of what the government hoped for. And then we've got executives get security. And the number of big American companies providing security for top execs has nearly doubled since 2020. And then France seizes tanker. A Russian oil tanker has been seized in the Mediterranean by the French Navy as European powers step up efforts to disrupt the oil sales that help fund Moscow's war in Ukraine. So there you go. I think that's all the news that's unfit to print. What else have we got here? Was Brexit about TTIP or were they different times? No, different times really. I mean, TTIP, is that the Trans-Pacific? Oh no, was TTIP the American one? Was it? Was that the one we were going to have with America? I can't remember. Yeah, because it was the CPCC, wasn't it, for the Pacific one? So TTIP was a free trade treaty that we were trying to put together with America. The Transatlantic Trade and Investment Partnership. It was a proposed free trade agreement between the EU and the US aimed to boost trade by reducing tariffs and regulatory barriers. But negotiations stalled in 2016 and were effectively ended in 2019 due to significant public opposition over concerns about standards, privacy, corporate power, and it made the talks obsolete. So the goal was to create the world's largest free trade zone, facilitating easier movement of goods and services between EU and US economies, which account for a large chunk of global GDP and trade. And there you go. So yeah, people didn't like the idea. The controversy was about investor-state dispute settlement, a mechanism allowing investors to sue governments for policies that affect their profits, fearing it could undermine public services like the NHS. Yeah, I remember this. Because this is something that happens in countries like Sierra Leone, who got sued. The government of Sierra Leone, I think it was Sierra Leone, got sued by Philip Morris Tobacco for putting health warnings on the cigarette packets. Yeah, we shouldn't be allowing American megacorps, evil merchants of death, to be suing our government. TPP for my bunghole. For my bunghole. I am the great Cornholio. I need TP for my bunghole. Are you threatening me? Sorry, me and Yuri are going to be laughing at that. No one else is going to know what the fuck we're going on about. Chris, exactly. It was the 6-7 of its day. Chris, exactly. If you give a single mother £1,000, she'll spend it paying off the debt and feeding her kids. If you give that to a billionaire, it goes to an offshore bank account. Yeah. Why are we subsidising billionaires? Stop subsidising billionaires. Were you aware of this hostility to the UN when you supported him? My position is that him becoming leader was the last piece in the jigsaw for the Brexiteers getting what they wanted. What are you talking about, Corbyn? Yeah, he was never a fan of the EU. No Beavis and Butthead, says Diz. All right, Diz, calm down. Once again, I'm annoyed beyond belief. We got rid of these Tories to stop the infighting, says Gallifreyan Men. Yeah, but Gallifreyan men, I think you'll agree that Starmer's not very popular. I mean, yeah. Jimmy got it. Beavers and butter. Thank you, Jimmy. American companies sue the UK government. The government should instantly tax that company. Should tax the company to the fucking hilt. I am sick and tired of companies operating in this country and paying no fucking tax. American companies operating in this country and paying no tax. It should be illegal. Like, how can that be fair? How can that be right? To say, oh, well, you know, our HQ is in Bermuda, so we don't have to pay it. There's no corporation tax there. And they charge us the exact amount that our fucking, the copyright that we have to pay to have Starbucks on our cups. It's the exact amount. We made $3 billion in profit, but we were charged that for using the little mermaid logo. So actually, we didn't make any profit last year. Didn't make any profit last year. I fucking hate it. I've got personal reasons. I've got personal beef with this whole, we didn't make any profit. Shite. Hollywood accounting. The US has formally completed its withdrawal from the World Health Organization, leaving behind unpaid debt of roughly $260 million. Yeah, a lot of Americans going to die. There is already a measles epidemic forming in America. And you've got a guy in charge of the health organization who sounds like a fucking zombie. It sounds like a zombie who's been shot in the throat with an arrow through the throat. What's that, Robert? Rob, what was that, Rob? Okay, thanks for that, Rob. Thanks, RFK Jr. That was a great little. Why do you sound like a zombie who's been shot in the neck by an arrow? You sound like the most unhealthy man alive. Actually, you sound like you're dead. You sound like a reanimated corpse been shot in the neck with a fucking arrow. Let's put him in charge of health. Make America healthy again. It's like a joke. It's like a joke from Futurama or The Simpsons or something, or Family Guy or South Park, isn't it? You know, the Board of Peace. The Board of Peace. And we put all these warmongers in it. Like Darth Vader, Grand Moff Tarkin. Put fucking Ming the Merciless on there. What the fuck? Chris says, I had an email from your party asking for donations. Not sure how they got my email address, but they have a reply threatening legal action if they don't remove it from their database. Fair enough, Chris C. The wealth hoarded by the 1% could easily lift everyone in poorest 10% out of poverty with change to spare. Yeah, it could literally feed the world. Investment, that's what we need. Investments in actual infrastructure rather than investments in shiny buildings. Because all these knobheads, all these Nepo-Baby twat burgers, they're all fucking inbred. You know, that's a big problem with these fucking lunatics. You know, if this was like, I don't know, in 18th century Spain, they'll just be sat in the corner, you know, playing with their toes. But unfortunately, we platform these motherfuckers because they're rich and they have the right connections to get platformed. They know which hands to shake. In order for them to climb the greasy pole. Because it's not greasy for them. It's not greasy. It is a degreased pole. For the rest of us, it's greasy. But for them, no, they can do what the fuck they like, can't they? So, you know, they climb to the top and fuck us all. Economists need to remain reminding of the velocity of money around the system. That's important, not the amount. They all just want to spend money on shiny buildings. That's all they want to invest in, shiny fucking buildings. You know when Thatcher privatised housing in this country through a process of, first of all, in the 80s, it was right to buy, taking loads of council house stock off them and not rebuilding and not building in their place. And then in the 90s, obviously, which was spoken about before on this channel, you were allowed to get a mortgage to let a house out. So you could put someone else in the house and they would pay for that house. She was expecting big companies to take over housing. She was expecting like one big company to take over an entire street of housing, and then you would pay that company for the right to live in those houses. I don't think they expected them to end up with how many landlords have we got now? 3 million? We've got 3 million landlords in this country. Individual landlords. I just don't know what we can do about them. There's too many of them. But yeah, Thatcher put that in place. But people want to invest in housing. People want to invest in and billionaires want to invest in shiny, god awful buildings like that fucking butt plug they have in London. Oh, look at the butt plug. People say. And I know some people probably watching this absolutely love the gherkin. It looks like a fucking butt plug. Like what the fuck? It looks like a sex toy. Why would you want a building that looks like a sex toy? Why don't you build a building that looks like a fucking building? There's a building in Liverpool that looks like a ship. Something a child will think of. Yeah, I've got a building that looks like a ship. There's one in fucking Dubai that looks like a fucking sail from a ship. From and it's funny because it's based on the sail of one of these boats called, I've forgotten. It begins with D, I think. It's not a felucca. That's in Egypt. It's a dhow. A dhow? Is it a dhow? Am I just making that up? I don't know. There's a type of boat that they have in the UAE. Famously, Michael Palin took one of these boats over. I think it's a Dow, DHOW. Yeah, Dow. That's it, isn't it? Am I getting it mixed up with the fucking Dow Jones Index or something? I don't know. Anyway, or the currency of Bhutan. Anyway, he got on one of these and he went over to Pakistan, I think, on one of these Dows. Anyway, so they made a building that looks like the sail from a Dow. But ironically, if you work on a Dow, you'll never go into that building. It's like a big fuck you. Fuck you, people who actually work for a living. I've made a building to symbolize the importance of your sales. Okay, cool. Did you make all the money to build that from us trading stuff on our little sailing dhows? No, actually, we made it through oil. Made it through filthy, stinking, disgusting, gloopy, dirty oil. Burning the bastard until everyone in the world is dead. Because that's what they want to do. Cool. On the Grok scandal, over 3 million sexualized images, including 32,000 child abuse images, were generated in 11 days. The IWF estimated that one child abuse image was produced every 41 seconds. Yeah. And Grok should be fined $1 million for every single one of those sexualized images. Entryism is a thing, so I wouldn't be surprised. Nick and Diff. Entryism? Oh, God. No, don't do that. Saz, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. Just to say, Graham and this lovely community restores my faith in humanity. Ah, thanks, Saz. Thank you. And honestly, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Thank you, not just Saz, but everyone watching this for putting together this lovely, lovely community where we come together each morning and go, what the fuck is going on? Together. Sorry I swear so much, Mum. But there's sometimes when you just, to be honest with you, if it was business as usual, politics as usual, I don't think I'd be swearing so much. Right, so I'm going to go in a little bit. But before I do, a little bit of housekeeping. 1 o'clock today, I'm going to be joining Phil Morehouse. Well, Phil Morehouse is going to be joining me. Technically, it's my channel. He's going to be joining me here on Politics Social for shit and giggles, but also for The Agenda, where we're going to be talking about Burnham and other stuff that's going on in the UK this week. Not least that the inquest came out about that guy who fell off a fucking ladder putting up a flag. So he's a flag fucker and he got fucked by a flagstone. And they had an inquest. And it took like 11 weeks to come up with the idea that he maybe fell off a ladder and fucking hit his head and he fucking died, right? It's awful. I mean, it's a tragedy. I don't want anyone to die. But you know who was the one who fucking pushed him to do that? Robert Jenrick. Don't forget, he went up a fucking ladder, didn't he? Don't forget that. Don't forget Robert Jenrick went up a fucking ladder to put a fucking flag up in an area where he doesn't live to bring the house prices down in the area he doesn't fucking live. He thought, I'll bring these house prices down around here because fuck him. Fuck him, I hate everyone who's not me. And he put up a load of fucking flags. And he went, this is great. Some knobhead went, oh, I think I should do the same thing. Went up a ladder, fucking ladder fell, hit the ground, fucking died. His blood is on Robert Jenrick's hand because Robert Jenrick, new MP for refuck, he fucking encouraged it. And no one's pointing this out. That should be on the front cover of all the newspapers. Could you imagine if Ed Davey had done a stunt for, on Lake Windermere or whatever, and then someone emulating that stunt on behalf of they wanted to show how much they want to chortle the balls of the super rich. Climbs up a ladder in the poorest area of the poorest fucking county in the fucking country, and he goes up a ladder and he goes, oh, I'll put this fucking bit of rag, I'll put this rag up this fucking lamppost to bring down the house prices in the fucking area, because that'd be great, that'd be fucking awesome. While the refuck council are putting up the fucking council tax off. Cheers to that. But I want everyone to know how much I want to fucking, give Nigel Farage what he deserves. You know, okay, cool. He goes up the fucking ladder, fucking dies, and Robert Jenrick fucking, walks away from it. That'd have been Ed Davey, who'd gone up a fucking ladder and someone had fucking aped him, like a fucking ape, like a fucking primate, and got up a fucking ladder and fucking died. That'd be all over the front pages of the news. Every single newspaper would be like, oh my God, Ed Davey kills this guy. And no, because it's refuck, because it's Robert Jenrick, because it's Nigel Farage, crickets. This is why I want a left-wing newspaper. I want a left-wing rag. I want a left-wing tabloid rag that just absolutely goes to town on all these motherfuckers every day. Just doesn't have the same headline as every other fucking paper. Just absolutely guns for Farage and for Jenrick and all these degenerate gobshites, these privately educated, tough motherfuckers, these aristocratic fuckwits who are driving our country into the ground. Because they can. Why are you doing this to us? We ask. Because you let us, they reply. And we've got to say no. We've got to draw a fucking line in the sand. Trump is showing what happens in America. If we have Farage as leader of this country, there will be middle-aged women, white women, Christian white mothers being shot in the face by their ICE. They want ICE. They want to bring ICE out in the UK. Even though in America, ICE is incredibly unpopular. And now more than 50% of the American population want to get rid of ICE entirely. They want it disbanded. They want it gotten rid of. Something that was almost unthinkable a few years ago. They want it gotten rid of. And now Nigel Farage is like, hey, we want that. We want white Christian women, 37-year-old mothers. We want them shot in the face, point blank, by a fucking lunatic who absolutely gets away with it. A lunatic who shouldn't have even fucking unholstered. He shouldn't have unholstered his weapon. He shouldn't have walked around the front of their fucking car. Anyway, Gallifrey Rain, to finish my thoughts, I dislike Starmer as much as any trans person, but the alternatives are way worse, and I know nothing about Burnham, but have yet to be given reasons to think he's any better. Fair enough. Did you get the house sorted before Kat got home yesterday, Graham? Yes, I did. It was a close run one, though. It was a close run. I mean, it was literally, I was pouring away the mop. It was mopped the floor in the kitchen and the bathroom. I was pouring away the dirty water down the toilet. Down it goes. And I got a little buzz in my pocket, and it said, "I'm in Darlow, darling," Darlington, which means that I had 15 minutes to go to the station to pick her up. It was a close one thing. So but if anyone is watching this who's got ADHD or suspects they might have ADHD, you know that thing where you tidy up because like someone's coming round, and it's like that's the only time that you tidy up. It was a bit like that, it was a bit like everywhere, running around, putting that stuff away. Sweat. When I lived in Panama, I had my own place. I was living on an island. I was living on my own, me and my dog, Campesino. I miss that dog so much. When I was living on the island, people would come around like all the fucking time. Like once a week, I'd have couch surfers who came to stay for free with me on the island. I'd have my friends coming over. People just turn up on boats. Once I had the Jehovah's Witnesses turn up. And what I would always do is it's like I'd leave everything until it got to the point where like people were going to turn up. But the only thing that I had to clean up straight away was if I had food, right? If I had any food at all in the house. So I couldn't leave the dishes. I couldn't like make myself some food. I'd cook a fish that I caught or something like that and had that with some, I don't know, taro or casebo or something. And then, smashed plantains. Oh, so good plantains. Fried plantains. Just fry them up. I'd had to clean the frying pan. I'd have to clean all the bowls or plates or whatever I'd used. Because if I didn't, fire ants, my friends. Fire ants. Do you know why they're called fire ants? Because when they bite you, it feels like you're being burnt in a fire. It is, yeah. So basically that kept me in line. The place might have been a little bit untidy when there was no one there. I did rush to tidy up when people were coming round. But when it came to actually keeping the place clean, the fire ants were my cruel mistress. I'll wake up in the morning, there'll be fire ants everywhere. I'll be like, oh, for fuck's sake. That's what happens if you live in the jungle. But there you go. Just don't look in the cupboard under the stairs, says Eddie Burns. Yes! Yes, Eddie Burns! Don't look in there. Woke is a channel like on here that covers American protests. You'll love it. Woke is a channel. Yes, Martin is his hand in the bruises. Oh God, yeah, Trump's bruise on his hand. Is that what you're talking about? He's talking about me being beaten up by my fire ants. Yeah, the cruel mistress. He had a big fucking mark on his hand, didn't he? Where they've obviously put a needle into his hand for whatever reason. I think I saw something on the news where a man was putting up a Union flag and fell off a ladder and died. Yeah, that's what the inquest came out yesterday to say. And it's all Robert Jenrick's fault. Robert Jenrick did that. He went up. He did the stunt where he went up on a ladder, up a lamppost, put up a fucking Union Jack, told all the people to do it. Gammon falls off ladder and removes himself from the gene pool. Get that Gammon a Darwin Award. Yeah, but he was old. He was like 61 or something. So a bit too old to get a Darwin Award, I think. Ren, would you trust? He was a football hooligan as well. So Ren, not to say that's a reason for dying, but he wasn't a nice person. He wasn't like. He didn't do good in his community. Let's put it that way. Martin, I'm guessing as Graham is talking in his normal tone and not an octave higher, he managed to get his housework done. That's why I'm not wearing my bollocks for earrings. Ren, trust me, you're safe with Burnham. There's a big LGBTQ community in Manchester and Liverpool. There is indeed. And why not? Why are the media not going after Farage and his 17 and not computer illiterate mistakes? Yeah. Yeah, well, they went after Rachel Reeves. They went after Angela Rayner. They didn't give a fuck, did they? He was also drunk, says Nick and Diff. Traumatic brain injury, Bristol area, another racist unalived. Wow, yeah. Bad Fairy, giving it the old sign of... that's the sign of the devil. What's... yeah, anyway. Didn't Dean Cain join ICE? Yes, he did. Dean Cain, he did. Yep. The guy who played Superman in the adventures of Lewis and Clark. Which was called The New Adventures of Superman here, because we don't know who Lewis and Clark are. In America, it was a bit of a joke because there were two explorers. People went conquistadors, early American conquistadors called Lewis and Clark, who went out and went, oh, we'll have all this land. It was over decades ago. What? You got an island, says Martin. Yes. Going back in a few weeks. My friend cancelled a coffee date this morning. I was relieved I didn't have to get the vacuum out. Lol. It's true. The bruising fire ants. Sorry, I just got here. Yeah, the fire ants, the cruel mistress, as I said. That's an odd way to make coffee. Wonder how much sand is left in Trump's hourglass before the Reaper does his round. You know when I was on the island. Last time, and I made a cup of coffee in the morning. And I had to walk down the steps to go down to the boat dock where I get the best signal for doing the live cast. And I looked down at me coffee, and it had fucking ants in it. It had ants in the coffee. I don't know if you remember me talking about this. I had a dream there were ants in my coffee. Just like hundreds of little dead ants. And I was like, oh. I thought it was clean. People are moaning about Trump confusing Greenland and Iceland, but he's been confusing America for late 30s Germany for ages. Very good, Jez Hunt. That's a very good joke. I might steal that. Scurry funge, verb, disguise the acts of running around frantically to tidy a house when you discover guests are arriving unexpectedly. Scurry funge, is that from the meaning of live? Is that from Douglas Adams? Is that a Douglas Adams made up word? I fucking love the meaning of live. Trump is bruised because he's got the thinnest skin in the world. Very good, Jez. Oh, Jez is on form today. Jez is on fucking fire. Was it instant coffee? Oh, very good. Very good. Would Trump receive a state funeral? I would just throw him off the back of the ship like they did with Osama bin Laden. That's what I would do. Spent ages trying to work out if I had the correct grammar there. No, actually, no. Trump needs a grave so we know where to go and take a shit when we visit America in the future. Jez is on fire this morning, yeah, with fire ants. But imagine if you had to do the dishes, or they would burn you. We didn't burn him. Woo! The meaning of lift, Sandberg and Clunmelt. The meaning of life. Great book. late great Douglas Adams, who we miss. And the Lord of Bad Puns today, apparently. Not sure if I should be proud. Yes, you should. Just we like a pun on this show. Anyway, so back to the housekeeping. So 1 o'clock, me and Phil. Now tonight, the Friday night social. It's going to be a bit later. It's going to be a bit later than normal. It's going to start at 10 o'clock tonight. There's a very good reason for this, which may involve a TV show that a lot of people are watching at the moment, and the finale of which is tonight. So, join us a little bit later on for that. Just let me just double check that I'm right about that, 'cause I might be wrong. I need to schedule, don't I? Yeah. It's gonna be Okay, cool. Yeah. So if you are watching the final of the thing that a lot of people are watching, no spoilers. That you'll realize that actually ends at a 9:45. So we'll get that out the way. And then we'll all reconvene here at 10 o'clock tonight to drink into the night with the morning the politics social, Friday night social, which I don't know, might just be me. I don't know. You never know. Anyway, so until we meet again, my friends, I'll say thank you so much. Oh, hang on, before we go anywhere, Kirsty Bennett, thank you very much for the £15 super chat. Ooh, thank you. To Graham and all the community, you make this timeline bearable. Oh, thank you, Kirsty, and you do too. Thank you very, very much. That is really, really kind of you, Kirsty. And I was just about to wrap up. Listen, I'll see you at 1 or at 10 o'clock tonight. One of the two. And if not, I'll see you on Sunday, hopefully, for the Sunday sermon at 11 o'clock in the morning, where I'm going to be talking about Trump and what's going to happen next. So that's not going to be a lot of fun. I'll try and throw a few jokes in there. Jesus. Anyway, listen, on the way out, if you wouldn't mind giving us a like. I know I've gone on about this a lot. I know it's just so cliche. Give us a like and subscribe and hit the bell notification icon. But it really, really does help the channel if you do that. So thank you very much for watching. And until next time, I'll say hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.